So this box with an egg comes from TDR, and it is actually not just an ordinary egg. This egg is actually a little quadcopter that's in the shape of an egg. Now, when you pull it out, it actually has a rubber band around it, a clear rubber band that keeps the arms in. But when you actually push down on the bottom button here, the arms pop out and it reveals 4 propellers, downward facing propellers. Now, in order to put these back in, you have to line the propellers up so that they're going to fit in there. If you try to do it with the propeller sideways, it's going to hit against the side of the egg. But if you line them up properly, you can push them all back in, and you got yourself a nice little egg here. I'd recommend holding on to this rubber band because these arms do tend to pop out pretty easily. But if you got them out, there you go. Here is the remote control for it. It's a tiny little thing. It takes a couple of AAA batteries, and it is how you fly this egg siding quadcopter. And then this copter actually charges via USB. I happen to have it in this plug, which did not come with it. There is a plug. There's a charging port right up here on the top of the egg that you plug this little tiny guy into via USB, and then let it sit for about 2 hours and it charges up. And it gives you a few minutes of flight time, maybe 5-6 minutes worth. But that said, I have charged it and I want to try it out. Now, one question that you're going to have to address is what's the front and what's the back? Because if you try to fly it right out of the gate, you don't know which is the front and which is the back. If you're not in headless mode, you're going to crash because you won't know where to take it. The back of the copter is where the charging port is, right here. So this is the back. I've got it facing away from me. I'm going to go ahead and hold down the power button on the bottom. You can see it lights up red. And I'm going to turn on the remote and wait for them to pair. Now they're paired. And I think this top right button starts the props. And then, just like any other quad, you fly it with the left stick being the throttle and the yaw, and the right stick being the direction. It's got a cool red LED in it. Let's try a full 360 yaw here. Whoa. And when it hits the ground, it scoots around. Don't know if you could hear that, but it was kind of a funny little thing. It was going on the side. So be sure not to hit the ground. I think I lost track of which way it was facing. So as I mentioned, this top right button is what activates and deactivates the propellers. This right stick, when you press it in, you hear 2 beeps, 3 beeps. Those are your different flight rates. Beep 1 is going to give you the least amount of tilt and be the more subtle to fly, but you don't want to try and fly it in rate 1 if it's windy outside. I don't think this is going to do very well in the wind, by the way, because it's kind of a high profile and the wind's going to take it, and it doesn't have very strong motors. It does fine inside though. Rate 2 is good for probably most of your flight time, and then rate 3 is going to make it tilt the most and give you the most response. The left stick, when you press it in, is going to allow it to do a flip. Now it's got to be in the air, of course, to do a flip, but when it's in the air, you press in the left stick and then you push the right stick the direction you want it to flip. So if you push in the left stick and you push the right stick forward, it's going to flip forward. You know, left, it's going to flip left. Probably want to do that outside, but I'm going to take it and do a little more flying around in here. And then rate 3. Whoa, rate 3 is even more on the throttle. Very cool looking, kind of funky looking. Let me turn off the light in here so you can see the red. I don't know if you're seeing the color there, but it's pretty cool looking. Alright, I'm going to try a flip in here. I might regret this, but I'll bring it back over here by me in the hallway. Here goes the flip. indoor flip. Don't try this at home unless you're pretty confident you can pull it off. Hey, look at that. It lost about 3 feet of altitude, 4 feet of altitude, but I flipped it backwards. And then I gave it a lot of throttle. I'm going to try to land it here on the table. Hey, that went pretty well. Let's take it outside and see what it'll do. Okay, we've got the egg right here. Go ahead and turn it on. Set it down. Okay, and here we go for a little outdoor flight. Alright, I'm in rate 3. And with no wind, it really goes. It's got a pretty fast yaw rate. Bring it back over here a little bit. Okay, gonna try a couple of flips. Here we go.
This thing's pretty cool. Nice. That's a lot of altitude on that one. Yeah.
Okay, there goes the flip. That is truly a flip. Hold on. Alright, front flip.
Nice.
Back flip. Alright, now let's see how fast it'll go. You ready? You got video?
Yep.
Okay. Surprisingly fast.
Yeah.
Hey, so just to wrap up on the Eggsplorer, I have to admit this thing is fun to fly. It's more fun to fly than I was expecting. It's got some downsides though. Number one, it is very hard to orient. When you're in the air, it's super hard to tell where the front and the back are. That's where headless mode is actually pretty handy on this guy. So I would recommend using headless mode when you can. Number two, when you crash, it starts blinking and then you have to turn it off, turn the remote off and resynchronize it, which is a little bit of a pain. If you don't crash, then it's not a big deal. I found that it was pretty responsive, and especially in rate 3, it goes surprisingly fast. And you know, just that, the cool factor of flipping the switch and all the arms coming out, they don't always all come out at the same time, but that's pretty cool. It also has kind of a short battery life. I was a little disappointed. I'd say I was getting about 4 minutes, maybe 5 minutes of flight time out of it each time, and that was doing a fair number of flips. The flips are amazing. The flight characteristics are better than you would expect from something shaped like an egg. So my son said it best. It's like something out of Star Wars. It was kind of like something you would have seen flying around on Tatooine or something. It's got a very cool sci-fi sort of factor to it. If you want something that's just fun to goof around with, it's definitely a good one for that. It is fairly rugged as far as I can tell. I've crashed it a couple times and hit it on a hardwood floor, ran it into a window and then into the grass a couple times, and it's held up just fine. Again, short battery life, a little hard to fly with orientation. That's where headless mode comes in. And if you do crash, you have to kind of turn everything off and turn it back on. My downsides, but for the price, it's kind of a cool little novelty item. I will leave a link in the description, so if you want to check out the Eggsplorer from TDR, you can check out that link and it'll give you more details, pricing, all that sort of thing. I believe it's available on Amazon. Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe to Ready Set Drone, and we'll see you next time.